What's up, everybody? It's me, it's the B.O.B., and I'm here with my man, Maestro. Maestro, how are you doing today?
I'm doing outstanding. I went digging through some boxes. I found that old Volleyball International magazine that Yao Ming's mom was in. And to finish off that story real quick, the reason I knew about her is because my mom played against her
Oh,
in volleyball and told me what a great athlete she was and got me one of the first volleyball flyers I ever got that had her in it. So that's where that story came from. Now you know now you know the rest of the story. Moving on.
and if you don't remember what he's talking about, go back and watch last week's episode for part
There
one
you
of
go.
our SWBA Mock Draft. Well, this is around the table with Big Bob and the Maestro. I am Big Bob. That is Maestro, and this is the podcast where we talk about whatever we want. This week, we're going to finish up our SWBA mock draft top 15. The full first round might be a little much for some people, but at the top 15, really, we can get into the meat of the draft. So, Maestro, I'll do a quick recap. Last week, pick number 1, the Jazz. Maestro went with Mackenzie Mbako. I went with Trey Turner. Number 2, Wizards. He went Darius Outlaw. I went Jamison Johnson. Number 3 for the Hornets, we both went CKC out of Maryland. Number 4, Pelicans. He changed my mind, so we both went with DJ Wagner to the Pelicans. 76ers, he went with Marion Sherwood. I went with Johnny Baldwin. My guy. Still hurts for him to fall to number 5 for me, but my Sixers got an amazing player, so that's okay. Number 6, Nets. We flipped our number 1 pick here at number 6. He went Turner. I went Mbako. Raptors kind of surprised me a little bit, but I'm not surprised. I wasn't surprised after the conversation. Raptors took Kadarius Loftus. I had him taking Darius Outlaw. Number 8, Spurs. Jalen Snow for Maestro. Bam Wallace for me. And then we're going to get right into it. Number 9, we got the Trailblazers. Who you got the Trailblazers taking, Maestro?
So here I have a lot of people consensus number 1, Bob. Jamison Johnson. I felt like in terms of where he is, what he does, what they need, this is where I saw him fall. I'm gonna say falling to. I hate using that word, but I'm gonna use it this particular time because everybody else has a different opinion of him. But and it's not that I don't think he's that. I just don't feel he was that. But I feel he is this. I feel like this is a good spot for him. I think this is a good value for him at this particular spot. And he's on a team that will give him an opportunity to play his full game. I see him with no restrictions here in Portland.
Yeah. I mean, at number 9, Jamison Johnson, whoever's there, regardless if it's the Trailblazers or not, that's a value pickup for. I mean, that is premium value pickup right there. I am sticking with a center for the Trailblazers, and I ended up going with somebody who has not played this season in SimWorld U. I am going with Tyson Simpson. I believe at this particular, once we start getting into the 9s, 10s, 11s, once we get into the middle, I think we're going to see a lot more players taken based off of their potential. Well, I mean, every player is taken based on their potential. But when we get to this point, who has more potential? And I think compared to some of the other bigs that are still out there, I still haven't had Lamurian Sherwood taken off the board yet. I think that when you put Sherwood and Simpson on the court together, I know I'm taking Simpson every single time. He is a little bit younger, which I know has been a lot of talk recently. He is younger. I just think he has more physical tools, and Tyson Simpson can take over a game when Tyson Simpson wants to. Sherwood has shown that he can do a lot of things on the court. I don't trust him. I don't trust him right now. I don't trust Iowa players. Just being honest, said it last week. I'll say it again. I don't trust certain schools, certain players from certain schools. I don't trust Iowa players. I definitely don't trust Iowa centers.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I got to go. Tyson Simpson. I see him going top 10 to the Trailblazers. Got number 10. We got the Rockets. Where are you going there?
So here we go. So with the Rockets, I've always liked his game. And not to say that I don't think highly of him, because that's definitely not what this is. But I have Johnny Baldwin here. For almost the same reason I have DJ Wagner up early with New Orleans. Leader, on floor, coordinator, general, whatever cool phrase you want to use now to make yourself feel like you're hot stuff. But I think he's that guy. I think he is him. And I think this would give him an opportunity to be that guy at a team that, I'm going to be frank about it, I really think Houston needs that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you look at Houston, Clint is just getting older and older, and he is not an offensively dominant guy down low. But I do think that if you pair an offensive big with him, I think you'll see them both really shine. Not saying Johnny Baldwin, he's a good defender too, but you give him that ball running half speed to the net, you better move out of the way. He picked up many bodies in SimWorld Prep and SimWorld U, and it's only a matter of time before he's on the SWBA. So again, this is another great value pick for every team wishes that you were their GM, Maestro. I think right now. You can get Johnny Baldwin at pick number 10. That one, everybody else is doing something wrong, but you're doing something right. I am also I'm sticking to the same position. The big center power forward, depending on where you want to play them. I am going to go with somebody who a lot of people have mocked in the 20s, mid to late 20s right now. And I am going to go with the other Michigan star because we haven't talked about the other one yet, but everybody talks about him more right now. I'm going with Lorenzo Phenom for this Rockets team. So much talent, so much talent. Might have the highest ceiling in all of this particular SWBA draft, but might also have, based on the way he can be too passive at times and wants to be too fancy. He reminds me of Joel Embiid when it comes to,
good call.
I would rather take the outside shot or hit a fadeaway versus using my size and dominating down low. I think that they're going to go, I think they would take the risk in the top 10 and take Lorenzo Phenom, and I think he would be a good fit there for this Rockets team.
Wow, that dude, I'm marking that because that he was someone, I'm just gonna be frank about it. He was not someone on my mind for the first round for a couple of different reasons. Some of them you mentioned, but I like where your head's at with that in terms of if you get him in the right situation, what can you do with him? Will it pay off? And I man, listen, from your mouth to Nate Smith's ears, man, let's go.
And I will be honest, sat down, we had a little bit of time. Some changes happened in picks 9 through 15, the order, since last week's episode. And I sat down and I started as that shifted. The needs shifted just a little bit, but those needs shifting just that little bit had a couple people jumping. That's not going to be the only surprise in mine. And I'm not doing it to say I did it. I did it first. I did it first. Go check the podcast. I said it first. I did it because I think they're good fits and they're going to do something good for these teams. But yeah, I know Lorenzo Phenom. He is one of those players that I don't want to put him in this category, but Jason Crosser had so much potential, but he never lived up to it in SimWorld Prep, and he still has not lived up to it in SimWorld U. But because those skills are still there, people still talk about him. Phenom has shown that he can dominate. He just doesn't show it consistently enough, in my opinion. Again, it reminds me of Joel Embiid. He can dominate when he wants to, but he'd rather be fancy and flashy and whatever. And I'm not about that, but I think based on his potential, I can see someone taking a shot in the top 10. And I think that team's going to be the Rockets, or should be the Rockets. Next, number 11, we got the Miami Heat. Yeah. Where are you looking?
So here we go, Miami Heat, Bam Wallace, just because of his ability to be a presence, his ability to be effective, I believe, in all three phases of the offensive game while providing a defensive presence. I just think he is that. I think he's that guy here. I would if he was there when I know I think you picked him earlier, but if I'm anywhere past 6 or 7 and Ben Wallace is there, I'm probably gonna pick him. So definitely Bam.
Yeah, I picked him at number 8 for the Spurs. Just had to pair up with Victor. And no, he is another player where I'm not necessarily super high on him personally, but the talent is
Hmm.
there. He is going to get picked high, and I think he can make a lot of noise, especially defensively in the SWBA. So we'll see. I think that's a good pick. I mean, the Heat need some help.
Yes.
They got rid of their star player who does everything he can to get kicked out of every single team he's ever been on. Bulls, Timberwolves, the Sixers, the Heat. It doesn't matter. He is. Uh, Jimmy Butler has done everything he can to make sure he's just like James Harden. He's done everything that he can to make sure that he is the one in control. And if that means being a jerk to get out of that situation, he's going to do it. So the Heat need a lot of help. I'm going to go with what I think would be a real feel good story. I think it truly could happen. I'm not doing it just based off of the feels, um, but I think a player who played his SimWorld prep ball for the yacht club, stayed in
Hmm.
Florida and played his SWU ball at Miami. I think the
No,
Miami Heat could go with the hometown star and draft Dominic Bianco. I mean, it is a
look at
guy
you.
who he he is so flashy. He'll dunk on anybody. Doesn't matter how tall
Yeah.
you are. You put Yao Ming down there um and Bull Manute Bull, put them both down there, and he's going to dunk over both of them. It doesn't matter. But no, Dominic Bianco has such a deep bag of tricks that
Hmm. Hmm.
he can do everything. He's only going to
Yeah.
get better as long as he doesn't let the stardom get to his head. And I don't really get that sense from him. So I
No.
think Miami Heat, they love their story. They love having that guy that's going to be there for 15, 20 years. I think Bianco could be the next D Wade for Miami. I truly think that
Whoa.
he can get to that level and potentially carry this team to a championship somewhere down the road.
That man is so funny because he was my original thought for Miami in this spot. He was my first and I guess in Maestro's mock 0.1 or 0.5. He was my original spot here, and but I just, again, like what I mentioned before, it's why I said who I said for that spot. But I like where your head's at, and I love the rationale for it.
Yeah, for sure. So Bulls, number 12. What are you looking at for them?
I think they're going to go to the Institute. Dante Walker, I think he's the kind of player that fits in not only their current scheme, he's also, I believe, in my opinion, that hybrid. He can give you a decent first position or deep game payoff, but he can also be that back cut slasher, mid range, strong, not afraid to get in there and go against the bigs. I just really think he would be good there, and I really think that he would be a good fit.
Yeah, I think for me, the Bulls, they are another team where I think they have a handful of needs, and I think it's hard to go wrong with really any player here.
Hmm.
Walker, he definitely, I know some people have him going in the top 10, top 5-ish range. Not a bad pick for the Bulls. I am going to stop a very long, what I consider a long slide. I know you didn't really want to talk about players dropping earlier, but everybody has Sherwood going number one, number two, top three
Right,
at the
right.
worst. I truly am not. Again, I am not that high on him, but
Yeah,
just because I'm not high on him can't doesn't mean I can't just not have him be drafted in a mock draft.
right.
I have to put my actual GM hat on for a minute. I think the Bulls, they stop the slide, they bring in Sherwood. I think pairing him up um, with Nikola down low, I think that would be pretty solid. They have some solid play at the guard position. I just think they need a little bit of help. He's not getting any younger, so Sherwood can slide into that big spot or at the center spot
Hmm.
once he decides to retire. If he doesn't do it this year or this off season. But I think again, Sherwood, that slide stops. Bulls picking up the projected number one pick at number 12 for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah,
um,
yeah, and yeah, I'm with you. It's like, and here's I'm gonna just say it, get it out the way. My issue has always been saying someone is dropped when they're getting picked for the first time
Yeah.
means that there was a general consensus. And I'm just gonna be honest about it. Hey, Big Boo, you know the deal. When has there ever been a consensus about anything?
Yeah.
Forget forget the reality, the fact that how many GMs learn how to lie publicly because they want to get their person. But just even when they're being honest and they swallow the blue pill or whatever and they decide they want to do the thing, they still can't agree on
Yep.
whatever. So that's why saying the term dropped means
Yep.
that they were supposed to go someplace, and I just don't agree with that philosophy.
Yeah.
That's all.
And we've never seen them play at that level, so we can't say that they've dropped
Exactly.
because we don't know what they're going to do. Every player is
Exactly.
an unknown at that point. When you're going from one level
Thank
to
you.
another, regardless of how talented you were, you are an unknown at the next level. If going back into every different sport, I mean, Aaron Curry for the Seahawks,
Mhm,
and I think
mm,
it was
mhm,
2006. I can't remember, but
mhm,
that sounds about right.
mhm.
Wake Forest, surefire. You could not go wrong. That is the only pick in the draft that you cannot go wrong. And I don't want to. I don't like calling players busts because just because someone didn't do well,
Yes.
it doesn't
Right,
mean
right.
they were a bust. They had the talent to get there, and they still played for a couple years. But yeah, you got a
Mhm.
player like that, Aaron Curry, can't miss prospect. But then you have teams like the Cavaliers, who was it 2016 when they drafted Anthony Bennett, or was it Anthony Bennett? No, not Anthony Bennett. The
Oh,
UNLV guard. Can't think of his name.
yes. Oh,
It's
please,
Anthony.
listen, everybody, please around the table fact check us on this one.
Please.
Please.
I don't feel like looking it up. I don't think it was Anthony Bennett, but I know they went out for the first time in however long. Someone didn't go with what everybody else was saying. But
Mhm.
you just never know. Again, you are not going to know till they hit the floor, hit the court, hit the field, and you get a couple years down the road and they're in the right situation. If you're not in the
Mhm.
right situation, it really doesn't matter how good you are unless you are the elite of the elite of the elite, the Tom Brady's, those kinds of players, the LeBrons, you're not just going to you can't just plug and play. You just can't. You have to be a student of the game, and there's very few players in any sport that is a student of the game that is going to sit down and take the time to to study that other team, study their own flaws, and get better.
Mhm.
They're like, oh, I'm a good
Mhm.
3-point shooter. I'm just going to keep doing. No, if you at some point, well, that's a bad. I'd say that's bad. The shots the last thing to go. The shots last thing to go. But if you you can't just focus on what you're good on. You have to. If you're bad at something, keep working so that you're not as bad at that, because then you
Right.
can have that in your pocket. It just, anyways, I'm going on a rant. I'm gonna let's switch it up. Sorry, I'm gonna cut this off. Mavs, right? Are we at the
Mm,
Mavs? Yeah, because I talked about Sherwood
yes,
dropping
yes,
number
yes.
13,
Mhm.
Mavericks. I keep saying Cavs, Mavericks. Who you got the Mavericks taking?
So, here, just gonna be direct. Here I have your Dominic Bianco for all the reasons that you said. I just everything. So if this was a legal pleading, fam, here's how y'all would handle it. Y'all would say Maestro picked Dominic Bianco, Supra, semicolon, his fun size booze argument. There you go.
Yeah, for me, I'm going a little bit different. I'm hoping that with a season down, you're going to have Kyrie Irving. If I was the Mavericks, I'm hoping Kyrie Irving and Klay Thompson are going to get even better next season. Thompson's first
Mhm.
year with the team, he did shoot I think it was like the fourth or fifth least amount of threes that he shot in a season, but he's still he has to learn that team. He can't just go in there and be Klay Thompson of Golden State. You do that, they probably would have even more wins than they do now.
Right, right.
They'd have even more if they would have kept Luka, but I don't
Yeah,
know. Um,
well,
but for me, I'm gonna give Anthony Davis a little help down low. He says that he's better at power forward than he is at center. I'm gonna give him that help, and I'm gonna go with a player that is projected to be on the cusp of the first round, but I think the potential is there, and I'm gonna go with Ohio State's Cody Johnson. I just
Ooh.
think the the talent that he has, what he has shown us in his SimWorld prep career. Ohio
Mm-hmm.
State is not doing great this season. They have their every couple of years they'll have a really really good year and then they go down. This is one of their really really bad years. I believe they're last in the Big Ten right now, next to my boys Penn State. But I think getting him a big physical presence down low, and again another guy who can physically dominate the paint, that's going to free up Anthony Davis, and that's going to make everybody on that team better. I truly believe that even though he'll be a rookie, adding Cody Johnson to the Dallas Mavericks, if they keep their core that they have now, he is going to help make the team better because he's going to take off so much pressure from all the other guys, especially
Right.
Anthony Davis, and it's going to give Kyrie Irving another person to find down low because he is going to be dominant down low. He's not one of the bigs that disappears when you need him to be physical. He's going to be
True that.
physical. So I think that filling in for them, filling him down there for some help with Anthony Davis, I think it'd be a good pick for the Mavs.
Yeah. Again, very well reasoned. I love it.
There we go. Number 14, we got the Atlanta Hawks. Who you got?
Hawks go to Virginia Tech and pick up a Trey Novick. I think he's the kind of shooter. I think he's kind of the able to play from the logo person that will fit in with what they do. No pun intended with the current Trey. That's kind of floating around there. But I definitely think he is someone that in a lot of ways I think he's a little bit more durable. And I think he will give them that sort of long range, long distance consumer cellular game that I think that they're looking for. And I see it really happening for him there.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good pick. I had him before last week. I had him a little bit higher. I had him already gone, I believe, on my mock draft. I moved some things around, and I'll be honest, he fell out of my top 15, and it's not for anything that he did. I believe that he is a guy who he is really showing right now that he is that team.
Gotcha.
He is that team right now. He is the heart and soul for that team, and I think he could help the Hawks. The Hawks need. I don't want to say the Hawks need heart and soul because they have a lot of heart and soul. They just can't finish, and that's been an issue for a while now. They just can't finish. So, saying all that to say, I'm going to bring in a lot more heart and soul to this team as well. And this is a guy that I didn't think I'd ever have even being drafted. I predicted that he would probably be in jail by now, but he isn't, and he has impressed me this entire season and continues to impress me. I got the Hawks at 14 taking Brian Vaughn. I mean, he is. We got to make sure that this Hawks team is going to be able to stay on the court because they got that. This is a lot of personality, a lot of people that are probably that are willing to fight for each other and for no reason. I don't. Again, Vaughn. If he stays out of trouble, he'll be good. But if not, he'll be in jail. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, I just think they need that gritty guy down low. And for me, Brian Vaughn has expanded his bag to the point that I think his talent is hard to dismiss. Is somebody going to be willing to take a top 15 pick on a player who has clearly shown that he is hot-headed, can get kicked off of teams, has to go overseas to play because nobody wants him because of his attitude? Absolutely. Someone is going to take a chance on him because they're going to look past the red flags. They did it with Jamarcus Russell. And he just has so much talent and he is improving. He's not a player who just he listens to. I always say you should tune everybody out. And he is somebody who doesn't tune anybody out, but he takes everything that those people are saying and turns it into motivation rather than turning it into, I'm going to mope about everything that people are saying and I'm going to let it affect me. He's letting it affect him, but in a very, very positive way. So again, I do think for the Hawks, I'm going to give him someone that is going to punch someone in the mouth, and I got to go with Brian Vaughn for them.
Oh, like where your head's at. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it.
Yeah. Last pick here. The Spurs double dipping in the first
Yeah.
half of the SWBA draft. Who do you have them taking?
And I'm just gonna say it. My real universe as a GM, I will always be about that life. The whole idea for me is how many cats can I pick up across the table, because I really don't know what I'm gonna get, right? So just to be real about it here, get it out the way. Caden Ship, that's what I have going here. Again, for a lot of the same reasons that I had our guy going with the Hawks. Basically insert that argument here. I think I think it's a good fit for him. More importantly, I think adding to that number, giving them the bodies that they have, giving them the bodies that they need, I really, really feel like he can be the most productive here, but more importantly, I think he can be the most effective here. And those are two different things. More than just stats, more than just numbers. What he brings to what he brings as a teammate, knowing when to be quiet, knowing when to speak up, all those other things, I think is going to make him effective.
Yeah, absolutely. Good pick. I do think again. I think Caden Ship was another one that I had up a little bit higher last week that he fell out again. Nothing against him. It's actually your fault that he fell out for me. Once I went on this big run that I had, I think over half my picks are bigs, which I don't think that's typically what will happen here in the draft. But you brought Kadarius Loftus back onto my radar last week, and
Mm,
I think he's going to go higher than 15. But looking at all the needs, I felt like other people were better fits. I got the Spurs taking Kadarius Loftus. If you can get
mm,
if you can get another season out of a veteran like Chris Paul to mentor this young man who already he has his head on. You never hear about Loftus anything negative about him. He is an elite shooter, and I said it last week, and I'll say it again. Um, I think that if you take the top two shooters in the world right now, Trey Turner number one, Kadarius Loftus is number two, and I don't think it's a question. Um,
right, right,
and I
right.
say the world is before that. Everybody's Steph Curry, da, 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 Clay, everybody. Yeah, these prospects, of all the prospects that there are right now, I think that Kadarius Loftus is the second best 3-point shooter. And I think with the talent that is there, the young talent, this is a potential another dynasty in the making. With
Mm,
Wemby, you got Bam down there for the defense, who can also score. You got Chris Paul to mentor the young kid.
yep.
Give him another draft or so. I mean, they got a lot of good players. I think that if down the road, I'd say 3 years, 3, 4 years down the road, I mean, this team could win a championship, and I can see multiple championships, just because Wemby is so ultra talented. As long as he can stay healthy, which again, another thing I said last week, we see that these big skinny guys, they do not stay healthy for very long.
Nope, nope.
But that could be changing just based off of the physicality not being as much as it was in the 90s. It's not allowed anymore. I think we might see them stick around a little more, but still, I mean, one wrong step, and Wemby's going down. But yeah, I think adding that elite shooter to the Spurs, in Kadarius Loftus, I think really could put them over the hump, and it could create another dynasty for them. If Pop,
You
well,
know
just
what?
wonder if Pop, I say, wonder if Pop
Yeah.
sticks it out, but this will be a new dynasty, but it'll be the Tim Duncan dynasty as the head
Oh,
coach.
yeah, exactly right. Exactly. There you go. I like it. I like it. It's so funny. It's so funny. I always thought my twin Becky Hammond was going to end up being the head coach there at some point when he stepped away. Um, but which is hilarious. We actually do share the same birthday, which she pointed that out to me when I got a chance to work out as an assistant coach when she was with the Connecticut Sun. A whole nother story. But but everything you said, and I know we're at the end of where we are today. My thought, not for health though, Big Bob, my thought was about contract. Can they
Mm,
keep the team together
yep,
via contract? The Spurs are good with that. They managed to juggle their monies in the right way. They
yep,
never seem to be in money trouble and stuff like that. But when was moving into that era, I feel where the NBA has finally outpriced its butt.
yep.
And teams are finding themselves with these super max,
Hmm.
quasi max, side max contracts, all these different titles to make these guys feel good. And plus the fact that a lot of players, as you said, play their way out. eat their way out,
Yep.
Harden, other teams, things like that. It's just um, if they can hold the team together, if the Spurs can maintain that as part of their corporate and institutional identity, everything you said, then yes, I would worry about health. But I just worry about the contracts now first with teams being able to stay together. That's all.
That's a conversation for another episode because what is contract
Yes, it is.
anymore? Does it even
Yeah,
do they really matter anymore? I don't know.
yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I can't tell you how many times my Vikings have been. Everybody talks about, oh, they don't have enough money, and then here you go, you sign this free agent, that free agent, get this guy gets an extension. It's like we had negative money. Where did all this money just magically come from? I don't know. But so
hmm
that's hey,
hmm
people, you pay people to figure that out. How can
Yes,
I
that's right.
how can I squeeze the smallest cent out of something, or how
hmm
can I find the
hmm
smallest cent out of something? Well,
We should
Maestro,
definitely do a episode on contracts. We should definitely do
absolutely.
that, Boo.
Absolutely. Quick rundown. Trailblazers number 9. Maestro went Jameson Johnson. I went Tyson Simpson. Rockets, Johnny Baldwin, Lorenzo Phenom. Heat, Bam Wallace, Dominic Bianco. Bulls, Walker, Sherwood. Mavericks, Bianco Johnson. Hawks, you went with Novik. I went with the flavor of the month, Brian Vaughn. At 15 for the Spurs, you brought up Caden Ship. I added there Kadarius Loftus. I think we did a good job with this mock draft. It just who's going to come
Absolutely.
off the check back. We're going to have to check back and see who did better after the draft in a
Definitely.
couple months.
Definitely. Sorry, Blaze. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I upset Rick Blaze. I'm sorry we both upset Big Blaze. But just remember, for 19 cents a day, you too can care for Rick Blaze and give him the care that he needs. In the
Well, Maestro, I
arms
appreciate you
of...
as always. You have any final words for the people?
Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate everybody for checking us out. As always, give us your feedback. Go on and drop some words for us down below. Let us know what you want to hear about. Me and my fun size boo, we could talk about anything, as you well know, since you spend a half an hour with us here every time you check us out. So come on, give us something that you want to hear us talk about. We definitely want to be there for you.
Absolutely. You let us know. Well, Maestro, I appreciate you as always, and I hope everybody has a great rest of their week.